Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So I just watched Coffee and Kareem. Let's talk about it. So Coffee and Kareem is directed by Michael Dowse, who also directed Goon, What If, and Stuber from last year, none of which I have seen. But after seeing this film, I'm not overly optimistic about the other ones. Let's just dive right into this one. This is going to be, I guess, a spoiler review, although I have to be honest. Can I even remember what happened in this film? Absolutely not. I might even make some stuff up. It's just a mess. It's an S show, and I don't want to swear in this review, but Jesus, they have absolutely no reservations when it comes to swearing in this film. It's one thing to have an average film about some police officer who's pathetic and no one takes him seriously and no one actually shows him respect, and he happens to be dating Taraji P. Henson somehow. Somehow she has this kid who's a loudmouth, but they don't get along, and he happens to know that his mother is in a relationship with this guy and he's not happy about it, and chaos ensues from there. It's one thing to have that, but it's another thing to have this kid be this swearing machine who says all of these vile, explicit adult things that is just entirely inappropriate in my opinion. And I'm not even a prude. I don't usually care about this sort of thing. I did watch Good Boys starring Jacob Tremblay from I think last year or the year before. That was a good film, and that was another one where the young kids, the children are swearing and they're saying bad things and they're doing crazy shenanigans. Like, that's another one of those, and I have no problem with that. But here it's just so vulgar. It's cringe. Oh, and it's just unbearable to watch. It's no longer pleasant to watch is the thing. It's like it's no longer a pleasant viewing experience because this child is saying things that make me clench. And the thing is that it's not even funny. It doesn't even have the advantage of being a funny film. It's just cringe. And this whole film definitely stinks of someone's idea who they thought was hilarious. But you have this kid who is swearing up a storm and saying all of these vulgarities, but there's no real personality to this child. There's no real heart. There's no real emotional center to this child. And they try to give him an emotional core, but it just falls flat because we've been with him for the past hour or so. We know what he's really like. So I'm not convinced by the end when they're trying to tell us that he's developed this emotional connection with his mother's boyfriend. Absolutely not. Since when? Where? How did this happen? Like, the entire time, all he's been doing is disrespecting him. He almost hired gangsters to have him beaten up. This dumb police officer. I can't believe, you would even be enamored with a child like that. Who almost had you beaten up or / killed by gangsters just because he didn't like the fact that you were dating his mother. Absolutely not. How can I sympathize with this character? And to add insult to injury, I can't even sympathize with the police officer either because he's literally just an idiot. He's so dumb. Like, how can someone function in life the way that he has? There's a fine line when it comes to portraying a character who is maybe a bit pathetic and we are supposed to have sympathy or empathy towards that character versus someone who's clearly not even a functioning human being. Someone who, how did he reach adulthood? How does he pay his taxes? How does he have a job? I don't know. Like, job interviews are hard. He had to go through police academy. How? How did he even manage to go through high school? That's how pathetic this guy is. So when you get to that level of patheticness and that level of douchebag, it just makes for a very ill-fitting duo, and you never really get convinced of the idea that they would become friendly towards each other, that they would develop this kind of father-son bond. But hey, even though he may not have a father-son bond with his mother's new boyfriend, perhaps he has a really cool mother-son bond with his mother, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong, because his mother as well is not great. This is Taraji P. Henson. What is she doing here? Why is she here? And to add insult to bleeding head wound, Taraji P. Henson's character doesn't even like her boyfriend in this film. She's constantly racist towards him, constantly complaining about everything about him. She even hits him at one point, which just infuriates me, because if it was the other way around, she deserves so much better than... Oh, I'm so angry. And I'm annoyed at myself for being angry because I'm playing into the angry black woman stereotype that I'm so annoyed Taraji P. Henson is playing into. This movie has me compromising my core values and I'm upset. I'm furious. And speaking of stereotypes, that's all that these characters are in this film. There isn't a single three-dimensional character to be seen. Where? I can't see a single one. They all feel like their character traits were written down on a napkin somewhere in a bar after someone had one too many shots of tequila. But you might be thinking, Jean, you're talking about character arcs and character development. You shouldn't be expecting that sort of thing in this sort of film. To which I would say, fair enough. you make a good point, except what I would expect at the very least are interesting action sequences, right? Like maybe you can give me some of them, perhaps? No, they can't. I can't even get an interesting action sequence. I can't even get an interesting car chase. One of the car chases takes place on a roundabout, which is funny for like 2 minutes, but then it gets very tedious because of course a roundabout is very slow. And the whole time they're throwing insults back and forth, which is vaguely entertaining, but still, for that to be the highlight of the film is absolutely unacceptable. Let's talk about the villain for a second here, because clearly we're not getting anywhere with the protagonist, so maybe the antagonists are offering something interesting to work with. Now, first of all, when it comes to this whole drug operation / conspiracy that they've stumbled across, the ultimate villain, the ultimate bad guy here are some French Canadians who wouldn't even threaten a 90-year-old grandmother. But the thing is that that's forgivable because that's the whole shtick. Like, that's the whole point of these characters, that they're not supposed to be taken seriously. But the person who is supposed to be taken relatively seriously is the female police officer who bullies Ed Helms' character throughout the film. And it turns out that she's a dirty cop and she's been in bed with the drug lords along with a few other police officers who are getting a cut in the operation, or at least they were before they were killed off. I would say out of all of the bad guys in this film, the French Canadians, the black gangsters who are just stereotype upon stereotype upon stereotype. Although I did like King Butch. I thought he was pretty funny, actually. I liked his character quite a bit. But other than that, trash. Out of all of them, she stood out to me. I really did enjoy the actress. I'll put her name over here, but I found her to be really, really funny. I liked her dry wit. She had some cool lines. Basically, as I was watching this, I was kind of spaced out and I was thinking, I can't believe this is a film. I can't believe people pumped money into this disaster. But then occasionally she would say something pretty funny and I'd be like, oh, I see a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of light, if you will, until that was immediately distinguished by something stupid or some vile profanity. Guys, I'm going to keep this short. I'm getting angry and heated up for absolutely no reason. This film isn't even worth my time. It wasn't worth the time that I spent watching it. Certainly isn't worth the time that I'm going to spend reviewing and editing this video. Although I hope at least you guys enjoyed my review. And with all of that said, I'm going to be giving Coffee and Kareem a 3 out of 10. What a disaster. What a mess. I thought at least it would be fun. Like a 21 Jump Street type of situation. Like, that is a very good film. These films can be done well. It's just, this is a pile of poop. I'm not going to swear because, again, I have more restraint than this 12-year-old child. So that's it from me. Now that I've told you guys what I thought of Coffee and Kareem, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of this monstrosity down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!